Well, everyone, another video. There are some funny excavations going on at Saqqara. Some funny excavations. And this is, of course, the Djoser pyramid. This is 3rd dynasty, just preceding the 4th dynasty. And, you know, they've mucked up the place so much. Who knows what's original or what isn't? I mean, look, you've even got this fellow and he's like, you know, he's carrying out all this stuff in these huge sacks. I mean, does that look like archaeology to you? I'm not saying it's not, but I mean, like, what the hell is going on? What is this? What are they looking for treasure here? We're going to expose the truth, and these photos have been shared with me, just like in the previous video by the same person. Now, and they are 2016, so look, they're already 3 years old, and look, these are people going inside, and you confront with all this scaffolding and wood and stuff because apparently the pyramid can fall on you. So you got to be careful if you go in there. And yeah, it's a mess. Oh, it's a mess. And there's some more scaffolding and even more scaffolding. What's happening here now? The thing about the Djoser pyramid is there is a labyrinth here, and this is if you're looking for a labyrinth in Egypt. It's not where the labyrinth is, it's this. This is the labyrinth. This is the only labyrinth there is in Egypt because it's got labyrinthine corridors and passageways. And I would have to say this or the Khufu pyramids come closest to the Chinese pyramids, which are, although we haven't looked under the emperor's main tomb, the legend says there's lakes of mercury and all this stuff, and there's endless passages and rooms and mansions and corridors. And even Jesus seems to have had this pyramid religion under his belt because he said something like, my mansions are in heaven, you know, mansions in heaven or something like that. And my father's mansions, these are the father's mansions, literally all these recesses and things inside the Djoser pyramid, you know. And look at that. Okay, so this is a descending shaft. Now, it's basically the Djoser pyramid used to be a mastaba, and it's got a descending shaft which went straight down. And so you don't get this in the Khufu pyramid, which is why it shows that this was like a different people, a slightly different religion or whatever's going on here that built this. And that's the descending shaft. I also showed another video, and other people I'm sure showed as well the same thing. We all sort of came to the same conclusion that this was one of those weird wedge-shaped shafts at Saqqara as well. And the pyramid was kind of built over that. And CF Apps, he also says that these are these must have been here before the pyramids or something, and just sort of recycled. And again, now sort of looking up. So he's descended somehow. As he climbed the scaffolding. What's going on there? And he's looking up and he's saying, "Damn, that's a long way up. Did you bring a rope? I thought you brought the rope. Damn!" And looking down, you know, how do they get up and down here? This is interesting. Hey, hang on a sec. Why is it all blue down there? What the hell is that? Is that like a blue rock? Blue rocks in there? There's not supposed to be blue rocks. What's going on with that? I can't really tell. Is it just in shadow? Is that granite or something? Basalt? What's going on? I don't know. Or maybe it's just this. Maybe that was showing up blue or that. Fascinating. Just fascinating. And we see some nice slabs here, even though the rest is rough and ready. All this scaffolding. We see some beautiful big slabs here. We've got this pipe here, like in a spaceship for all the electrical cables, I guess. Just amazing what they're doing here. I wonder if maybe they're just looking for treasure. Maybe they're not really restoring it at all. Isn't that an interesting theory? Okay, so what's happening here? We got this big fat tube, and it's feeding into another room. And maybe it's a vacuum hose and they're sucking up all the debris and it lands all outside and gets filtered, you know, or something like that. Here we have an interesting thing going on where we have this, and this is how rocks actually often split. It looks like it's a boulder that's split, and rocks often do split like this. And people show me pics from the desert, and they say, "Hang on a sec, this is artificially done." Or you see these in thumbnails, but believe me, if you go out into the desert, you see lots of these, so it's not necessarily artificial. And this again, you got holes in the sides for the original scaffolding back in the day, and then it goes up like that. The shaft, unbelievable. This is beyond incredible, because here we actually see the mottled surface of the limestone, and it looks a bit weird to me. Does that? I mean, these people, they were cutting brick sizes that you could carry, so they may not be the geopolymer people. The Khufu people were. But to me, that mix should be studied. That's a bit weird. It doesn't look like a regular limestone to me, or whatever it is. And yeah, okay. That is actually one of the things I wanted to show you, and that is the subject of this video, because some videos back, actually probably last year, I speculated that. And this is the thing, Davidovits doesn't cover this, because he doesn't say, he talks about geopolymer, but he doesn't say, well, how was it made? How did they crush up endless amounts of cement to make the Great Pyramid? And people have said, I prefer to believe it was cut in a quarry, then someone actually crushed it all up to make the same thing. And they kind of have a point. Unless we're talking about a really rich, advanced country which was able to build things using wind power, for example. So are we actually looking at turbines here? So does this confirm what I suggested, that there was a mechanical power network? And I showed in previous videos, I'll link it at the end, how a mechanical power in network could have been done. And mechanical power, it was invented in Europe in the Roman time, before the Romans, and it was carried into the Middle Ages. It wasn't just water wheels; it was other incredible contraptions as well, things you wouldn't believe. And the power could be transmitted by levers and pulleys for miles and miles and miles. So I am putting it to you, and I am putting it to everyone, that is evidence. That is evidence for the mechanical power network in Egypt. This is the new light bulb. This is the new smoking gun for ancient technology in Egypt. I looked up the sacred flower, sacred lotus. Look, it ain't this, guys. It's a different thing altogether. I can look up sacred lotus and the Egyptian sacred lotus Egypt, and it's not this at all. It's a completely different. It's not some four budded thing. Look, it's more like this. You see, it's nothing to do at all with. It's that. You see what I mean? That's it in Egyptian depiction. So compare that to that, and you will straight away see that there is something weird and funny going on. And this is the faience. And to me, this is not as good as depictions. This is from 2016. This is why you wouldn't let visitors in here, would you? Because they're just going to pick it off the wall. Even if the adults don't do it, the kids will. You know. And the adults will too. I mean, it's going to vanish if they open this up for tourism, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to get into this pyramid. I don't know how this bloke did it. Has he got inside information or something? And you see, it would have been covered in faience, and look at it now. It's a pathetic imitation of its former glory. These are the reed mats, the imitation of reed mats that their houses would have been made out of, basically. So it's basically a house underground. It's a mansion in heaven. And again, they're using this shaft, this mansion, this shaft inside the labyrinth to store whatever the heck these are, and they've marked them to show which way up they were. That's all I can tell from that. And then you got the electrical cables running in. You got more stones there. You know what? It's a mess. Imagine being the curator of a pyramid. You'd go insane. I mean, this is amazing. And here we have. Now that's back to the Teti pyramid. See my Teti video for this archaic king list. What it seems like. But yeah, so how about that, guys? How about that as the new smoking gun for the mechanical power network? I'm going to call this video "Secret Excavation Reveals evidence of Egyptian mechanical power network, or something like that. What do you think? Bye bye.